Hi, this is Terry Haley bringing you some extraordinary transformation. I want to thank everybody who's tuning in. You're listening to WVLP at 103.1 FM, also live streaming at WVLP.org. Today's show is brought to you by Ryan Everhart with Diamond Residential Mortgage. Don't assume that all mortgage companies are the same. They are not. All loan officers are not the same either. Ryan has a deep commitment to his clients. He cares about making sure that they make the best decisions for themselves and their families and their pocketbooks. His office is conveniently located on Route 30. He's at 350 Northland Drive in Valparaiso. And his direct phone line, in case you need some financing, is area code 219-707-8429. Ryan, thank you as always for supporting my show and supporting community radio. We love what you do. So for those of you catching us on a visual, you might see some Christmas decorations around. We're just a couple days before Christmas, and I have the opportunity to interview someone I've not met yet before, but I am with Marie Jarrell. She is the founder and president of an organization called Sunbow Foundation. This is something that kind of crossed my radar. Thank you, social media and Facebook, and I don't know who it was, but somebody was doing a fundraiser for this gal, and that always makes me take another deeper look into things, something I haven't seen before. So I did a little research before driving out and looking at a little bit depth of what it is that you guys are up to. And I guess the first thing, if I can ask Marie, is can we get the definition of Sunbow, because that's new?
Yeah, absolutely, because it's key to what we do. Yeah. So Sunbow, actually what most of us think of as rainbows are actually sunbows. So a sunbow is the spectrum of color that comes out when the sun comes out after the rain has ended.
Really?
Yes, and and that's what we hope to be to people. We hope to help end the storm and bring out the light and be that sunbow.
Got it. You know, I never knew that was what that was.
Yeah.
See, all this time we've all been calling it rock.
I found the word a long time ago. It was a kind of a dark time in my life, and it just kind of stuck with me. I was like, oh yeah, someday it'll be Sunbow, and so it really stuck, and that's how it became the name.
Yeah. Oh, I like that. I like that. And what does your organization do?
So basically, the analogy, like I said, is to sort of end the storm for people. Basically, we just help people, and it's very broad. I don't have a specific niche of the type of people I help. They don't have to be sick. They don't have to be, any specific thing. It's just sort of, we hear a story of someone going through a storm, whatever that storm might be, and we try to help them out in whatever way we can, and really the only thing is the people that we help mostly aren't getting help from somewhere else. So we're not adding another $2,000 to a $20,000 GoFundMe account.
Right.
We're giving maybe $2,000 to someone, and it's life changing because it's no one else is helping them, or maybe they don't have a network, or people that can do a fundraiser for them, or whatever it might be.
Or maybe they just don't know how to ask.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Raise a hand. So how difficult is it for you to find people that qualify for that?
It just happens. So so we're small enough right now that it's really just word of mouth. We just hear a story. Yeah. So just yesterday we had an amazing story. I was actually on my town, on New Lennox's page, going through, and a mom had actually asked for help building a wheelchair ramp for her daughter who was having trouble getting in and out of the house. And people from the community responded really quickly in terms of to help build it. They were like, I'll help build it. And they started to raise a little bit of money, but it wasn't enough. And they wanted to build it yesterday, and this was just like last Tuesday or something. So I'm like, that's easy. And so we actually funded the supplies for that ramp, and then some other neighbors built the ramp, and someone donated lunch and whatever. So it's really cool community project. So that's one example.
Is that what I saw? Because I picked up a couple short videos of a young girl kind of
yesterday. That was for yesterday. So there was a before and after of her walking and struggling to get in her house, and then just whipping up right away in the wheelchair after it was done. So that was one example, and we've got actually a bunch of them going right now. It just seems the holidays sort of bring out the need. So we have a bunch of people that we're helping right now, and it's just one way or another we just hear of them.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, I don't think that there's any accident in any of that.
Yeah. No.
In my world, it's
Yeah.
like it's all divine.
Yeah,
It's all divine
yeah.
order. So interestingly, no, let me go back to, if somebody wants to follow you on Facebook, because I had the connection there, how would they find you there?
So on Facebook, you can just search Sunbow Foundation, or the actual address is facebook.com, www.facebook.com/Sunbow Foundation. But if you search it, it'll come up.
Perfect. So I encourage everybody listening, get on there and look, because the videos were moving without question to watch that little gal.
It's a very positive page.
Yeah.
So I post everything that we do on that page, but I also post what we call Sunbow stories. Everyone in my world knows what a Sunbow is, and a Sunbow is someone who does the act of kindness. Yeah. And so if I see a feel good story out there, I transfer it over to that page. Right. So that page is pure best of humanity. None of the no politics, no arguing, no nothing. Enough of that. Yeah, if you're ever having too much of that, go over to the page and just scroll through, and you'll just see all good stories.
Yeah. And that's funny. It's, I guess there's no accident that you and I connected, because that's the intention. And those who follow the show know that I look for people that are changing our world, and I look to balance the scales a little bit. Tip them in the other direction.
Yeah, exactly.
So there's an organization that I'm familiar with that this weekend, actually, they hosted an event where they were looking for families that aren't already identified by trustees' offices and things like that. It's almost they were looking for people to nominate folks around them that they knew were having a hard time with Christmas this year. So, and then they hosted this amazing luncheon at the Indian American Cultural Center in Indiana, and then gifts for the children. So they needed to know how many boys, how many girls, how many ages, that sort of thing, and they just did an incredible thing. Yeah. Again, like you, looking for things that that we see, that that folks aren't already getting as much help as they can from the resources that are out there. I love what you're doing.
Thank you. It's amazing, I have to say. And when I look back at what we've done in just 2 years, and it really is amazing. Yeah. And everyone who's involved, of course, it's very grassroots. So a lot of my initial supporters were friends and family. Sure. But one of the things is, and I try to get them to get the feeling that they're doing this. If you saw my post yesterday, I'm like, guess what you did today? You did this. And my tagline is kind of, together we can do so much. And the Helen Keller quote of, alone we can do so little, together we can do so much. I don't have $1,000 to toss to someone, right? But $5 here, $5 here, $10, what everyone donates together, that's what allows us to, when we hear a need, to help right away. And people feel very connected to knowing that they're doing it.
Sure. Yeah. Well, and it's not just the $5, it's the manpower too. Yeah. So you have people that knew how to handle the tools to make that ramp happen for that young girl. Yeah. That's so I guess however you can show up and help.
That just happened. We have a lot of times it's financial or purchasing something, but a couple times we've needed manpower. Sure. A year ago at this time, we actually heard of a single mom who got subsidized housing. She was homeless and she had an infant, and she got subsidized housing, but she got the subsidized housing and nothing to put in the house. And so we put out a call for actual donations, stuff, and within less than a week we had everything to furnish this home. And then we probably had 20 people or so. We had someone take her to lunch and come back, and she had a home with a Christmas tree, with Christmas presents, with everything you can imagine, beds, bedding, clothes, in a day. And people came out to do that. So it's amazing.
Do you have the opportunity to video all the things you do, or just some of the things?
Some of them. If I'm there, it was sort of new at the beginning, so I have some bad videos that I've done at the beginning of just presentations. But this year, like right now, we've got some people that were helping from afar, so so I don't really get that direct video or connection. Just their words back of what's happening. But I try to, if I make a presentation, I try to video and get their reaction if they're okay with it. And then I make a couple videos that are just, here's everything we did this year. just one thing after the all the stories. Yeah, those are up on the Facebook page.
I'm gonna go find that. I'm gonna go find that because I just got a few just to get a deeper glimpse at what you're up to.
Yeah.
So you've been operating for 2 years. Wow. That's not long at all. That's
not long at all. It was, like I said, I don't remember what month we got our 501c3 in 2017. We'd kind of done some unofficial things prior to that. It was something that I wanted to do for a long time. So we were kind of doing some unofficial things, and my friends were helping me out for a while. But yeah, our 501c3 we got in 2017, and like I said, our very first presentation was a single mom who had 3 kids, who paid all her bills and had $17 left for Christmas. So we handled that for her. Yeah, so it's really very broad. I know, it's very broad. It's very broad what we do, but it's, like you said, it's huge. Like the impact is huge. Do you want to hear my favorite story?
Please.
It's one. Well, they're all my favorite, but this was one of the first ones before we were even 501c3. I work with my friends are amazing, and I worked for the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society team in training. I've been with them for 18 years, so I'm still involved with them, and so I've gathered a lot of great sort of altruistic friends who are also involved in that, and we're all runners, so we do marathons and things like that. So that particular year, my friend said, well, instead of paying for a race, let's do our own little 5K on Thanksgiving morning, and we'll donate to Sunbow. And I was working, I'm a physical therapist, and my job is to not in a traditional sense, so I check in with people where they work and see how they're doing. And I just said to this woman, how are you doing? And she's like, well, my feet hurt. And I was about to launch into my physical therapy stuff, and she said, but I can't afford new shoes because I'm about to lose my home. And we're about to, and her husband had lost her job, and she had 2 adult specially abled children, and so I said, well, that's going to be our family. That's going to be who we're going to help. And I thought, well, we'll raise maybe enough money to get her a new pair of shoes. Well, we raised about $800.
Oh.
And although that's a lot of money, it's not $20,000, right? Like sometimes you think you have to have like a ton of money
to make a difference.
And so she had no idea what was happening, and I went to work and I said, I have a surprise for you, and I told her the whole story. It ended up I gave her the check, and that was the first day that she couldn't pay her mortgage, and it was for the exact amount almost. No. Yes. And she was like, oh my gosh. And so I mean, like you said, divine, I mean, it was crazy. Yeah. And so the cool thing about it was, even cooler than that, was that her husband had been unable to really take help. Like at that point, like he had lost his job. He wasn't, but that sort of switched things. So after that, they started going to food pantries. They refinanced their mortgage. They did all this stuff, to sort of save their homes. They did, and 6 months later, he got a job, and they're in their home to this day.
Oh my God, that just awesome.
Yeah, and so that, I think that is, for me, was a watershed moment of, I think sometimes we don't feel like we do a lot. Maybe we give $10 to something, or maybe we say hello to someone in the street, or maybe we pay for someone's Starbucks, or whatever it might be, and we don't know that it's going to be like that big of an impact. And you can have such a huge impact, and it doesn't take, you don't have to be a millionaire. You don't have, like, most, when we hear about philanthropists, it's Oprah and whatever, and we're all philanthropists, if we just give a little bit, and the impact can be huge. And that was really watershed to me. I think even I thought at that time that to make an impact I was going to have to raise a ton of money and give people a ton of money, and that has not been the case. And we give people what they need, and and that might be a little bit, like this ramp was nothing, it was a few $100s, life changing for this little girl. So it's cool stuff.
And here's something, another thing that I learned a while ago, not that long ago, but is that you look at someone's circumstance, and it may seem very daunting, or even overwhelming, depending on what, like that family, the prospect of losing their home, And that seems like a big conversation, but what I realize is sometimes the only thing we're here to do is to prime the pump.
Yeah, exactly.
Just to get it cracked open. And then someone else steps in and takes the next step and the next step. So that story that you just shared is just an example of that.
Exactly.
You just got things rolling.
Yeah,
so that you can find the resources and probably everything for a reason, all of those things coming together is what got into the next job and then so on and so on. So I love that. Absolutely love that.
Yeah, it's great.
You've probably got so many good stories.
I do. I have a lot. I mean, everything we've done in 2 years, I mean, every story's great. Like I said, I make myself cry when I look at my videos that are just slideshows. I'm like, oh my God, really? Really? Like, oh my God, oh my gosh, I can't believe we did that.
Yeah.
You know?
I love, oh my gosh. And so the other thing I like about what you're doing too is that it's not just around the seasons, you know, and I know that, you know, the way that we're wired as human beings is our hearts just get a little bit bigger during this time of the year.
Right.
So there's a lot of response to that. So we have a lot more pull, you know, for that dollar or that time that we have available. But, you know, to be able to do something ongoingly where you're touching families all through the year is just, I think that's tantamount. Because I think we all kind of lose sight of that collectively. You know, when it's the middle of summer, we've got other things in our lives.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, not those in need. So I know cash is king. Probably the best thing that somebody can offer to your organization would be a financial contribution.
Yeah.
And any amount is obviously
any amount. It adds up, and that's the whole point. Is that it adds up. And you know, when I go to my account and, you know, I see that I have $1,000 or $2,000, whatever I might have, that means I can say yes. When I hear the story, you know, and it's an appropriate story for us, then I can say yes. It was kind of like with that ramp, like that day, it was 2:00 in the morning when I was looking at that, and like I said, it was $300, $400, whatever it was, but I knew I could just do it right then. And in that particular case, they needed it right then because they were ready to build on Saturday. So having that money in there is just everything. That's what we need. And it's money in, money out for our foundation. I haven't even spent money. I talk about my Facebook page. My website is a placeholder because I never can spend the money on getting a website developed. I'm just like there's somebody else who needs, like, you know, there's a need that comes up, right? So any web developers, we could do that too. But it's money in, money out. I mean, nobody gets paid. There's no paid positions here. We don't have any expenses really at all. So I mean, I don't know. It's probably 98%, you know, goes right back to somebody.
Right. Yeah. Directly where it's going to impact their life. So no, I think we're serious. So let's put a call out to anybody listening that, and I'll tentacle out to some folks that I know to see if they can spend a little time. You know, websites are so interactive now. They're more
I just have I have the domain name, but it's just a picture.
Yeah, that's okay because you can host that in so many different places. So anybody who can give a little bit of time to that, I think they could probably get something up and running in a couple of hours. That looks really nice. Not you and I. I mean,
not me for sure.
Call that out. So you don't have cash to share. That might be a nice way to contribute to the organization as well. If somebody wanted to donate to your organization, how would they best do that?
So the quickest and easiest actually is on Facebook. Okay. If you go to the Sunbow Foundation page, there's a donate link, and something important for everyone to know for any charity on Facebook, that if you're fully vetted, if you're an approved charity on Facebook, they cover all the fees. No fees are taken out of your donation. Yes, there's when you're first getting signed up or whatever, there's a little transition period where there is some, but once you're fully vetted, 100% of your donation comes, and it's automatically directly deposited to our account.
This is amazing.
So Facebook's super easy, and what I'm like, it's bad because it's not bad, but it's so easy to donate because once you put your credit card in there, it's like one click. I mean, I'm donating to every charity on the earth, but so that's easy. PayPal is another option.
Okay.
So PayPal, our PayPal address is Sunbow Foundation, all one word, at yahoo.com. That's our email address. So you can make a donation through PayPal, and then of course a check made out to Sunbow Foundation, and the address is 701 Vanderbilt Drive, New Lenox, Illinois 60451.
Can you spell Vanderbilt for us?
Yes, Vanderbilt, just like Gloria.
Oh.
It's actually Vanderbilt University is what is,
but got it,
yeah,
got
but
it.
Vanderbilt, yeah. So any of those ways. Mm-hmm.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Thanks for sharing what you shared about Facebook. Like, how nice to know that such an that they're out there.
Yes, people worry about that. I know that they worry about fees getting taken out.
Right. Mm-hmm. Well, it just tells us that organization's got their heart in the right place in some way. To do that. So,
yeah.
So what is it? I mean, what is it that sparked this? How can you tell me the story? How did you create it?
Well, it's in memory of my parents. I'll get teary now. My father died when I was 20. My mom died about 20 years ago. I don't know if I thought about it like after my dad died, just him, but after my mom died, I just wanted to do something in memory of them. Didn't know what it was going to be, just something, right? And so that's what I wanted to do. And I don't think I ever decided. I don't think it was ever a decision like this is what the organization's going to be and this is what we're going to do. It just sort of evolved over what I was doing in my life.
Okay.
Just asking people for help with things. Like I said, I've been involved with a charity anyway. So I had a lot of charitable people in my life. And I would just hear a story. I'd be like, hey, you guys, can you help with, whatever? And they would. And, so that's kind of how it evolved. And then the word Sunbow, for me, I mentioned that it was a dark time in my life. It was actually right after my mom died, and there was a lot of stuff going on. It wasn't just that. And I was in a job that I hated, working for people that were horrible. Mm-hmm. And one day I had to look up words in a dictionary that started with S for alliteration because it was a marketing thing, right? And I came across that word and I hung on to it, and it became my email address right away. So I really hung on to it for me personally.
Yes.
And then that just became the name because I hung on to the word because I was like, someday it's going to be the light. It's going to be sunny again. It's going to be a sunny time. And so it just fits perfectly for what we do.
Yeah, I like that. Mm-hmm. That's wonderful.
Yeah. So my parents, Eugene and Elizabeth. Yeah.
Well, thank them. Thank them.
Yes. Yes.
For creating you.
Thank you.
Because I'm going to guess that it has a lot to do with who they are as to why you are who you are.
Thank you. Yes.
That's how that came.
Yes.
So,
yes.
That's amazing, and it's amazing that you have something that you honor them with.
Yes. I hope they're proud.
I'm sure of it. I'm sure of that. So the other question too. Now we know how people can contribute to the organization, but how would they, or do you want people to find you if they hear of things that might fall under your radar and under your scope?
Yeah, they can post on the basically those same ways. They can post on the Sunbow Foundation page, and I will get those message. They can message the Sunbow Foundation, like privately message it on Facebook. It just seems like everything's just so easy on Facebook. Or they can email me at sunbowfoundation@yahoo.com.
So let's be real clear so that folks know what it is that you're looking for. What's your ideal type of
people to help?
Yeah.
Like I said, basically, I just thought of like a couple of other really good stories.
Tell them.
But basically, it doesn't matter what's going on. It's just someone who needs help in some way. It doesn't have to be cash necessarily. I mean, it really doesn't matter. Like, it just doesn't matter if we can do it. I mean, maybe we can do it, maybe we can't. But The biggest thing, like I said, I guess the only criteria at this point, I mean, someday when we get big, there might be applications and, all kinds of things, but what we look at is really, can we make a significant difference, and are they getting help from somewhere else? Because if they are, we'll let some other people take care of that for them.
Sure.
And so if it's just someone, we've had a couple stories where people just didn't have the network. So here's another great story, but it shows the difference of people. So it was a friend of mine told me about this family, and the friend of mine had many friends with cancer at this time, just weird. So, and she lives in a nice neighborhood, and she said in the nice neighborhood where, people were fortunate financially, the person had cancer and she had a GoFundMe, and within a weekend there was $20,000 in the GoFundMe. A mile down the road was this other couple who just lived in a not great part of town, didn't have financial resources, but neither did their network, neither did the people that cared about them. So someone started a GoFundMe and there was $60 in it 2 years later, right? And she just, for her, that was so significant, a mile down the road. So it's sort of like, you have a network, you have people, your friends, your family, they all have jobs, they're all doing, you're probably going to get that support if you need it, right?
Sure.
So this couple, the mom had stage 4 cancer, and they sold their wedding bands to buy their son a winter coat. And so we replaced their wedding bands and gave them a few $1,000s to pay the bills, to pay their phone bill, to pay their heat, to pay their electric, that kind of thing. And but that's the kind of person we're trying to help, right? We're the person over here that have the nice network, the nice neighborhood, they're taken care of, they're okay.
Sure.
So we want to take care of that type of person.
Right, the ones that don't have community.
Right.
Yeah, or their community is, like you said.
Right, can't do it.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
Mm-hmm.
So, and usually people flock together.
Yeah,
Similar people
yeah.
tend to be around each
Yeah.
other. So that's a great story. That's crushing though, like selling your wedding bands.
Yes.
I can't even imagine.
Yeah.
We have friends joining us.
Sorry, my dogs have all of a sudden decided that we've been talking.
Yeah, time's up, now they want to play. They want their attention. What, just out of curiosity, have you given thought about where you want to plan to head in the future? What's the outlook?
Yeah, well, I mean, I had a dream to start it, and now I have a dream, to make it big. So again, as I'm talking, I'm thinking more things. So one of the next steps is to have other people fundraise for the organization. So not only to donate, but to fundraise for the organization. So the birthday fundraiser that you saw on Facebook,
right,
those are great. 2 of my friends just had them over the weekend, and we got $600.
Oh my goodness!
Yeah, it was
Good
great.
For you.
It was great. But also, like I fundraised for the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society for 18 years, and all kinds of things, garage sales and parties and whatever. So someday I would like to formally set up fundraising campaigns like the big boys do, like the big charities do. Like the fundraising campaign that I was involved with was called Team in Training, which was endurance sports, and that was one fundraising arm of LLS. And so I've like I said, I'm still involved. I'm a marathon coach, but they have different fundraising campaigns. So someday we'll do that. Someday we'll apply for grants. Someday, we'll do all that. But even now, if someone wanted to have a fundraiser, if someone wanted to have a garage sale, if someone wanted to have a pampered chef party, or go to Chipotle where 10% of the the proceeds, anything that you would do to fundraise for any organization, that would be a next step instead of it being mostly centered around me. And a couple of people have done that.
Yeah, that's wonderful. Probably those that have experience with fundraising and
exactly. I'm not like exactly. Yeah. So the dream. So the dream is big. I'd love to see. We've partnered twice with a physical therapy clinic who adopted families in Arizona. So we've helped them out in Arizona. So, we've kind of gone a little bit, outside of just the local area helping out. So I'd like it to get big. I always say I'd love it to get big, but if nothing ever happens more than what has already happened, my dream already came true. So I'm cool with how it is, but but the bigger it gets, the more people we can help, and the bigger impact we can make. So we'll see. Yeah.
There, so many things come to mind just like listening to you and getting a little bit more information about what it is that you guys are up to. But there's a coffee shop in Crown Point, Indiana, that's gotten quite a bit of notoriety and a lot of media coverage. That their hearts are in the right place, and I know that they look to other organizations to help as well. So that would be like, maybe I'll connect some dots there for you.
Yeah, it'd be amazing.
I don't know. There's another one as well. That
Yeah.
we'll talk about when the show's over. But just to help it grow. And I love that you're you're just so not ego. There's a word for it, and it's not ego, but it's just the opposite. The opposite of ego would be humble.
Yeah.
That you're just humble about it and grateful.
Oh, it's so grateful. I can't even tell you. I mean, grateful is one of my favorite words on the planet, but totally grateful. And grateful, and I am humble because people give me a lot of credit, but I'm just the girl with the Facebook page. I'm just the girl that finally one day went and got a 501c3. That would be nothing without the support that I get and people donating. We couldn't do anything, and that's why it's we. Like I tell everyone, somebody just yesterday said to me, it was always my dream to do something like this too, and I'm living vicariously through you. I said good, because it's your charity too. You've donated. It's your charity too. Anyone who donates, it's their charity. They're the ones doing it, and so it's all we. I like I said, I just don't do it. I just do posts, and then people are donating, and that's why we can do it.
Well, you gotta know there's something about you that it flows through you. It's not just like anybody can do that or anybody would do that.
Yeah.
There's definitely a wiring there.
Yeah, there is definitely a wiring that I don't know where. I don't know why, but that part's true.
Yeah, mom and dad.
I'm a physical therapist too, so like I'm like the Mr. Rogers. Where are the helpers? I just am. I guess I am just sort of wired a certain way. Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. And I think that I would give yourself just a pause to say that it takes a certain intention from you to be that. So even though you're wired in that way, the fact that you wake up in the morning and say, okay, I'm going to be that again today. I'm going to do that again today.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, there's something to that as well. So it's a multi-dimensional kind of conversation. So what a phenomenal idea. I have to say, I think you've gotten very far in 2 years, just in having the opportunity to interview other people on different levels of the path and the trajectory of what you're doing and who you're serving is pretty amazing. So it sounds like, aside from a web designer, it might be nice if someone has some real good fundraising experience then too, to might come in and step in and contribute to that conversation and expand that out a little bit. There's so much opportunity for that. Yeah. Boy, that's just like my head goes. There's so much I know of. So many places that do it. Yeah, so much. Yeah. And it'll come after the fact. So just look for some emails.
But this is exactly this is exactly it. Like, this is miraculous to me to have this conversation. And that's the thing that's going. Little things are happening that are taking it one step further, and I can see it. I can see it on the precipice.
Yes.
And then someday when I get more time to spend on it too,
well, and maybe it'll be that you'll acquire support. Yeah. Maybe you'll get cash for sure, but then also some manpower, some people that have a little bit of time and experience, because what we don't know is because my show goes places that I can't even imagine now, that somebody their heartstrings aren't going to be pulled by something about the conversation that we're having, and they say, oh my gosh, but I can do that really simply, and they love to do it, and they love to do it.
That'd be amazing. That'd be amazing.
Yeah,
amazing.
We need that. We need that.
Yeah.
So it sounds like there's a few different needs out there, but what a great thing. And we're coming toward year end, so if anybody's looking to do, and what I love is that if you have $5, you can contribute to this on the Facebook. It doesn't have to be massive sums of money, though we won't turn that down. We'll take that too.
Right, yeah,
whatever you got. But just a little bit to help. And I love the Helen Keller quote. Helen Keller. I've never heard that one before.
Oh, yeah.
That's really beautiful.
Yeah, I'm a big quote person too, but that's one of my favorites. So together we can do so much, and that's all it is. Just together. It's together in community. Yeah.
Well, and I want to thank everybody who has graciously and selflessly let you take video. The ones of the young girl, again, I encourage everybody, pop on that Facebook, look at this and look at those videos. I mean, it was just, I just took my breath away when I saw them. And we're talking about, I don't know, 40, 52 seconds of your life. Yeah. Just take a look at that and see what's going on. And I just always feel when people let you do that, that's such a gracious thing to do.
Yeah. Yes, it is. Yeah, it's very nice that I always ask and get permission to share the stories, and everybody has always said yes.
Yeah, you're lucky for that. I think a lot of people they tend to be private about it, and especially it sounds like somebody who might kind of fit your criteria for who you want to serve would be somebody who tends to maybe fly a little under the radar and isn't the one to go help, or know how to go that, raise a hand, or.
I mean, when you say that, actually, no one we have helped has asked for help. So far.
That's big.
It has been a surprise to all of them. It had every single person. Either I heard their story or someone was close to them. I always, we always know that the stories are legitimate. I mean, because we're so close, it's one person removed usually, but not one person, which is okay. Which is okay if someone asks for help. So I don't want to. I don't want to make that sound like that somebody could not ask for help. But for us so far, no one has. It's just been.
Well, I think by asking for help, what I was imagining is like people that are already very well versed in what's available to them. They're at a place where they're okay to wake up and say, I'm going to go look for help. That's a certain dynamic. It's a certain type of person that does that or knows that. And I know that a lot of people, there's conversation probably about shame with that, or maybe some sense of failure, or and who knows. I mean, I think that all of us have been through hard, horrible, dark times, and I call it falling down the rabbit hole. We fall down the rabbit hole for a little while, and that, maybe the way that we are is that we don't know how to ask somebody to drop a ladder down, and don't want to. Yeah, there's something about all that. So, so that's kind of what I mean is like people that aren't good at that. And there's nothing wrong with being good at it, but people that are not. How does it feel then I can imagine once you've served, but to approach somebody in that situation and say, listen, we caught wind of you.
It's awesome. It's awesome. And that's one thing I try to portray after the fact in my posts back to everyone to thank them is, and that would be cool too, that someday it's not me, like always, right? Like it's like Make-A-Wish where there's wish granters like all over the country. It's amazing. It's like kind of like knowing it's coming. Like that's my favorite part is like they don't know that like that this burden is about to be lifted, and it's just going to be like so cool 5 minutes after this happens. Like it's. Like you said, I've been through a lot of stuff, and I know what that's like to sort of have that burden be lifted, and so it's incredible. it's incredible. But that's the feeling that I want everybody to have, even though I'm the lucky one
Right,
to get to actually, hand them the check
Yeah.
or whatever it might be. I'm so lucky to be able to do that. But yeah, it's indescribable, really. I mean, it just knowing that it's cool. It's just cool.
What an honor.
Yeah, it absolutely is. It's
Yeah.
really, really cool. And people get emotional. Or one story, the video is up there of Joe, this kid that we helped, and he was stuttering, and I had never met him before. And he was stuttering like in the whole video, and I just thought he stuttered. He didn't even stutter. Like like when we were talking afterwards, he didn't stutter at all. He just was so, so that was just like so funny. He just couldn't even talk. He couldn't even speak. As a kid, he's just 20, but he couldn't even speak.
Wow.
Yeah. It's so cute.
Wow.
Yeah. And I just was like, okay, well, Joe stutters, no big deal. But then when I was talking to him later, I'm like, oh my goodness.
Right.
He was just overcome. He's like, nothing's ever happened to me, like this. And yeah. So his story, can I tell his story?
Yes, please. I want to go find the video.
Yeah. So, and we're still helping Joe out. Actually, just talked to Joe today. But Joe his mom had cancer, and he spent his high school years taking care of mom. And when mom passed away, when he was 17, she said, "Will you please take care of grandma?" So he actually spent his whole teenage years taking care of his mom and his grandma. Grandma passed away, nothing, not even a high school diploma. They have a high school diploma. They owed money on their trailer. He had a car that his grandma gave him that got totaled. I mean, the kid had nothing. And he had some friends who in California that offered a job and that he could live with them, but he had nothing to go to California with. So you know where this is going, right? Yeah. So we paid for his flight to California. We gave him money to start with rent, to start with, whatever. And sent him off on his new life that he more than deserves. My goodness, this kid deserves the world. And so just about a month ago, he called me and we were talking, and this is cool too, because this is where the not money thing comes in. But he called me and he's like, I'm getting a little discouraged, and it's rough. Things are rough. Things are challenging, which of course, he's 20 years old, has not had any real world life. He's in California, like, what guts, right? Like, what guts to pick up and go there. He's like, it's rough. So I went on Facebook and I said, hey, can anybody send Joe a note and just talk about, rough time that you've been through and how you came out the other side and how it's good. And I said, just say I'm in and I'll get you his information. 35 people. So 35 people minimally have been sending him cards, notes, letters, gifts, money, gift cards, everything on the sun. One of my friends, she does this really cool artwork, and where she draws a picture with words around it, and she drew a picture of California, and it was all about like things are going to get better, and then a heart with his mom and his grandmother's names in it. Yeah, I mean, just and people who are going through their own stuff,
sure.
And they're still helping him. And he said, and he's like, I'm overwhelmed with the support, like in a good way, but like literally he didn't even know what to kind of do with it,
Sure.
But yeah, so that's an example of just writing a letter, and saying, hey, I've been through rough times too, and it'll get better. Just hang in there. Yeah. So that's a cool story too.
Where is he in? He's
in
California.
Oh, I can't think of where it is. Yeah.
You're not sure where he's close to?
No, I mean, okay. I know it's in my phone somewhere, but I can't think of the town off the top of my head.
No worries.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Okay, just curious. I have a child in San Diego that.
Oh yeah, I'm not sure. It's I mean I have his address in my phone, but
not one of the major verbs. Well, sending a good thought out to Joe.
Yeah.
Yeah, this holiday.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I think it's wonderful that he had people that were out there and had the ability and the wherewithal to give him some place to land and launch from.
Yeah.
You know. But
exactly.
Yeah.
So not quite there yet, but that's to be expected, I think.
Well, that age, my goodness gracious, right? I'm like, he could be anywhere.
Yeah.
With all kinds of things.
And he what I love about him is that he's really working and trying, right?
Sure.
You know, so he's studying for his GED, and and he's trying to get all the jobs he can get, and so he's not just waiting for something to happen.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Or looking to be cared for.
Right.
He's looking to make it happen on his own.
Right. Right.
Do you ever have times that you choose not to help, that you look at a story and say this isn't, or this is not our scope?
I have because I don't really get asked, because it's more when I hear, I don't really have to say no, right? So I really haven't had that quite yet.
Okay.
That'll probably happen.
Yes, it will.
Yeah, that'll probably happen. I think maybe one time I did, and it was someone who was trying to raise money for a van and just wanted us to contribute towards the van, and she's like, I've raised this much, but and I'm like, that's not really what we do.
Right.
That was probably the only time, although I understand the need for a van. But she had all these other like I said, same thing. She had all these other fundraisers going. I'm like, that'll take care of itself.
Yeah.
So not yet. Like I said, I'm aware that as things progress, we might have to have my board might have to come up with a more specific criteria or something like that. But right now, because it's just that we hear, I haven't really had to say no. I'll just sort of, we'll just sort of, I'm sort of the first line screener, although other members of my board, they might come up and say, hey, so-and-so needs help or something like that. But, so far it's just been, what we hear, and we're able to say yes.
Well, I'm going to put a wish out there that it continues like that.
Thank
for
you.
the most part.
Yeah,
I think the alternative has got to be rough.
Yeah.
Or would be rough, and I'm sure you'll probably get stories as you continue to grow.
Yeah.
Sort of pull on you, but doesn't quite resonate.
Yeah. I mean, if I read it, like anything, the GoFundMe stories, I might even donate to someone's GoFundMe personally, but if I'll actually look, like, so if I read a story, because the newspapers now, they sort of run the GoFundMes, and I'll read the story, but I'll actually look and see, is anyone responding to this GoFundMe, or not, and and if it's not, actually that's how we found Joe. Actually, now that I say that, that's how I found it. Was a friend, but it was a friend of a friend. It was a friend who had started the GoFundMe for him, and I didn't know, but it didn't gain any traction.
Gotcha.
But I kind of watched it for a while.
What do you mean the newspapers? Because I don't read the newspaper.
Oh, so now, like in the Patch, the New Lenox, like the local paper, the New Lenox Patch or whatever, it'll come up online or in the paper, and it'll come up like a news story.
Okay.
It'll say, local kid takes care of his mom, whatever, and it looks like a news story, and then when you actually go in to read it, it's actually a story about it. They're partnered with GoFundMe.
Interesting.
Yeah, and so when you go in, and then at the end it'll say, oh, there's a GoFundMe account, and then you just click on the link, and then you can see, then it'll take you to the GoFundMe page.
Got it. Okay, that's something you do here. Then it's not something we have in Indiana.
Oh,
we don't have any local paper doing that.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, because that's.
Well, whoever. Well, the Patch. I mean, that's every town out here is a Patch. Like,
oh, do you?
Yeah, like that's the local paper.
Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Interesting. Well, and I think gosh, there's just so much that pulls at us. it's almost like we get desensitized. I think about the GoFundMes, and I think I almost go a little bit numb.
Oh yeah,
It's like,
for sure with that.
You
Yeah.
know, and the birthday fundraisers, I'm like, that was kind of nice for a second.
Yeah.
But I'm kind of done with it.
No, I agree. I agree with that. Yeah.
Especially like I look at them like an adult is saying, instead of buying me a gift for my birthday, do this, and I'm like, yeah, but I probably wouldn't have bought you a gift for your birthday.
Yeah. Anyway,
you're not 12.
Right.
What I've done anyway.
Yeah.
But
I actually don't even do a birthday fundraiser for the Sunbow Foundation, because I'm asking people for money all year long. So I'm like, I'm not going to do a birthday fundraiser.
Right.
Yeah, but I appreciate it when people do, of course, because it's been helpful. So yeah.
Right. I think any other manpower resource that you think you can use aside from website development? We've got some
grant writing. If there's any grant writers out there.
I do know a grant writer.
Grant writer, any kind of market, like just the whole marketing, all the stuff that it takes to have a quote unquote business grow. I mean, that's the same stuff we need. It's my board. It doesn't have any special skills in that area. My niece works for an advertising firm, and so I always tell her, I'm like, you're my marketing department. Yeah. Well, she actually spearheaded getting my logo.
I love this. I love it.
Yes, thank you. Yeah, so my family gave this to me as a gift.
Yeah.
Two Christmases ago, I think. They'll give me the logo as a gift.
Yeah. Oh wow.
They had Kate had it done with a guy that she worked with, so anyway, so she's my marketing girl.
She did a nice job with that. I love the gradient color. I love everything about it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Good work. So do you put it on all kinds of things, or is it just?
I just started to.
Okay.
So that's another thing we have. So we have Sunbow Foundation. My cousin owns Action Sports out here, which is the stuff for the high schools and stuff. So I actually have a store. A spirit wear store, it's called, and there you can get like the sweatshirts and a couple things, and then we get a little bit of money from that. And then we did a special campaign for Giving Tuesday with a different logo that says, in a world where you can be anything, be a Sunbow. It's really cute. Yeah. Out of that, usually it's in a world when you can be anything, be kind, but we did be a Sunbow, so that's really fun. So we're just starting to, have some things like that.
Yeah, I like that. I like that.
Yeah.
Nice take on it.
Yeah.
So I want to thank everybody who's been tuning in. You've been listening to WVLP at 103.1 FM. We are also live streaming at WVLP.org. I want to thank our show's sponsor. Today's show was brought to you by Brian Everhart from Diamond Residential Mortgage. Ryan is there to take care of you, looking for a mortgage to either purchase a home, maybe refinance. His office is on Route 30 at 350 Morthland Drive, and you can reach him on his direct phone line of area code 219-707-8429. Ryan, as always, thank you so much. And I want to thank my guest today, Marie Jarrell, the founder and president of Sunbow Foundation. What a great interview. I can't believe it's been an hour.
Oh, thank you so much. I can't either. Thank you so much for the opportunity. I really appreciate it.
You're very welcome. Looking forward to seeing how you grow.
Thank you.